I'm just going to say right off the bat that I'm not a PlayStation fanboy. In fact, if you've ever watched my channel, you'd see that I play a lot more Xbox than PlayStation. That said, I don't strive for either side to outdo one another. At the end of the day, I just want to play some great video games. However, I decided that when I eventually get round to buying one of the next-gen consoles, I am going to be choosing the PS5 without any hesitation whatsoever. And I reckon that'll be the same for many other people. So today I thought I'd just make a quick video breaking down why I think the PS5 will sell more than the Series X, and why that will always be the case down the line unless Microsoft changes their strategy. The reason behind why I think this is actually kind of sad, because it's not because Microsoft did anything wrong per se. If anything, it's the opposite. The reason I think their console won't sell as well is because they are being too pro-consumer. You heard me correctly. The PS5 will outsell the Series X because Microsoft is being too pro-consumer. I know that sounds kinda stupid, but let me explain. Essentially, throughout the lifespan of the Xbox One, Microsoft have constantly made decisions that are really good for their customers, most likely to make up for the horrible start they had back when the system launched. A lot of these decisions are likely beneficial for them, like Game Pass for example. Xbox Game Pass is honestly a genius system they have in place, and the fact that they have something like this and Sony don't is probably going to help give their sales a bit of a boost. However, most of their other decisions have destroyed the incentive for many people, myself included, to even buy an Xbox Series X. One decision they've made is that for the first 1 or 2 years, all of their first-party titles are going to release on the Xbox One as well as the Series X. This is great from a customer perspective, since it means that people who can't afford the Series X won't have to buy it for quite a while. But from a business perspective, they're just shooting themselves in the foot. Because one of the biggest incentives to buy a new console is so that you won't miss out on future games that are being released. But by not releasing any games exclusive to the Series X, that incentive is completely destroyed. I do understand that another incentive to buy it is to have a more powerful console that can handle much more impressive games. But then I'd also argue that by releasing it to the Xbox One, you're actually reducing the potential of the game, because you're going to have to limit that game to the boundaries of a 7-year-old console, and will only be able to make minor enhancements to the Xbox Series X version. While Sony have made some of their launch titles available on PS4, they've still made a lot of them exclusive to the PS5. So logically, the PS5 is just the better system to buy if you want to have the biggest game selection. Now the second thing is that even once this 1 to 2 year period ends, most likely all the games on the Series X will still release on PC, so all the exclusives won't actually be exclusives. Now I do understand that a lot of people don't own a powerful PC, but the fact is a huge chunk of the gaming community do, so by doing this you are at least losing out on sales from that part of the community. Now that said, if you don't own a PC and you wanted to try making one that was as powerful as the Series X, most likely it'll cost at least $1,000, probably more. But if you are willing to settle for a PC that can comfortably play games on medium settings that will release for the Series X, then most likely you won't have to invest much more than you'll be paying for the console itself, as long as you know what parts to look for and are willing to build the PC yourself. Now many people probably won't go through all that hassle, but the point I'm making is not that there isn't a reason to buy an Xbox Series X at all, but just that there are much less reasons to buy it in comparison to buying a PS5. The fact that the PS5 has a lot of exclusives for some really good IPs mind you, means that even players that have the most expensive PC in the world still have a reason to buy the console. One thing I want to make absolutely clear is that I'm not encouraging Microsoft to stop these pro-consumer decisions. If anything, I encourage them to, because they're just great for the community in general. And for the first time, I don't feel forced to buy 2 consoles in order to experience all the games that both companies have to offer. And if Sony and other video game companies ever decide to adopt this strategy, which I do find quite unlikely to happen, then it'll just be incredible for the gaming community. All I'm pointing out is that this is why Sony have continued to remain ahead of Microsoft throughout the previous generation, and why they'll continue to remain ahead if Microsoft stick to this strategy. But I'm hoping Microsoft aren't concerned about that, and will hopefully have enough success on their own merits to not abandon this strategy altogether. Anyway, that's pretty much all I have to say for this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, please make sure to subscribe to my channel and click that notification bell icon so that you get notified of future videos I'm making. I also want to give a shout out to Haya for supporting me on Patreon. For those of you that don't know, I'm currently making an animated series that's set during the events of the Halo games. You can currently watch the entire first season on my channel right now, but if you want to support me as I'm making the second season, then donating as little as $1 a month on my Patreon will really help me out. But anyway, that's all from me, so thanks for watching, and peace out.